It failed. Why? Yes. It was about 2 years ago. I was on the group with Mark.
Yep.
There's a problem. I've never ran into this.
Were you the one who suggested doing the QR code on the side of the bottle?
Yes. Did you
All
do
right,
it?
that was you. We did it, man, on all of our bottles. Yeah.
There it
Uh,
is.
Let's see. So we do listen. 2 years ago. Yep.
well,
There it is.
why is this not launching? Okay, I think we are live. All right, guys. Hey,
Awesome.
I got Yeyo. I just love saying Yeyo. I don't know what on it. It's just, I mean, my neighbors know when it's the weekend, I am going to come out of my house with a bottle of Yeyo, and I just love saying it. But more importantly, I love talking about it. I love drinking it, and I hope every way I possibly can of getting people to love this amazing spirit. I got Jon and
Liran.
on with me, co-owner of Yeyo Tequila, and talk about some amazing guys. Please join me and hopefully lift up a glass of Yeyo with me and join me for the next however long these guys decide to stay on, because I could be up all night long.
We got all night, boys. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So I know we talked, as we just did a few seconds ago, that, you know, a couple of years ago, brand was kicking on. You know, you were doing some stuff. You ended up landing at 1414. So tell me, how did you end up at 1414? Now that I get to ask the questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us, CJ. And yeah, so long story short, I came down to Mexico and with my flip phone and paper map, and I landed in Guadalajara. I went and tackled the lowlands first, drove throughout the lowlands. I stopped at distilleries that I could see off the road, and asked to try the cooked agave. And as I made my way back to Guadalajara, we started going towards the highlands, Arandas. And what I was looking for was something absolutely delicious. I kind of look at agave and meat and fruit kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when you start with an amazing ingredient, the outcome of whatever you're cooking is going to be good, because if you start with a great ingredient, that's the center part of it. So like, just like with the banana not being ripe, if you eat a green banana, it's not going to taste that good. The agave has the same variables too. If you wait for that banana to get yellow, start to get a little bit of black on there, that sugar is, but you don't want to go too far, because then it starts to falls apart. And so that's why there's a balance between harvesting it and also, like, making sure that sugar content's there. And the Villancos do very well with that. So what I was trying to do with these distilleries was try a good piece of agave that was cooked and see, like, was it overburnt? Was it not mature enough? How are the sugars? And a lot of the distilleries I went to, the agave, I couldn't even finish a bite, just because it was just not right. And I definitely think there's definitely science into it, and it comes down to a lot of communication in the fields. Not harvesting an agave or a pinot that's not ready, so just letting it sit there and moving on to the next one. So that's really kind of what I was looking for. So make our way up to Arandas. We did know one contact up that worked at the Casadores factory, so that kind of helped that we were going in that direction, which is not too far from 1414. It's about maybe like 5 minutes away. It's really not far away.
Mm-hmm.
So we were driving. At the last second, I saw this sign, Viva. I swooped right in. No security guard.
Yeah.
We got turned down. So I had my neighbor that's from Mexico City with me. So he's speaking Spanish, I'm speaking English, he's translating for me. And basically we got denied. We got back in the rental car, and I asked him, like, what did you say? And I asked him to repitch it. This was at the end of the day, a long day. Probably why the security guard wasn't there. Everyone was pretty much ready to go. People had already left the store. I think this was around like 6:00. So repitched it, went back in there, repitched it to Juan Carlos, which is still there today. And he let us go in the back and try cooked agave that's probably was cooked 3 or 4 days before, and it was still just on the ground. Pointed to it, I picked it up, tried it, and it was, even though it was cold and probably moist and had been sitting there for a while, it was delicious. And I was thinking to myself, if this was warm, I mean, if it tastes like this now and it's just there, I'm like, just imagine how it would taste, if it was just right out of the cooker. And but anyways, I was impressed by it, and I felt like the search was over at that point. And then we came back the following day. We got to know the family, and this was like 13, 14 years ago. So then that's where the relationship started with, and it was actually with the third generation. Now the Blanco's on the fifth generation. So I got to meet the third generation, which was in charge at the time. And so I've known the Blancos and Sergio Cruz since 2009. So it's been a minute. But yeah, so that's kind of how I stumbled upon 1414. And at that time, there was only 3 brands. That's it.
Yeah, it would probably have been Sergio, or not Sergio, David Sprand.
Yep.
Sura.
Yeah, David Sura.
Yeah.
Muchote.
And
Yep.
Muchote, and
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't until probably the last year or two at most that they actually started promoting their own brand again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's spectacular. And I totally get what you're saying, because my first trip down that I finally got my wife to agree to letting me go down to Mexico, and she actually went with me on the first trip, was about 3 years ago. And we did the lowland tour because, I mean, I wanted to, tour Fortaleza. I wanted to tour Cascawen, El Telicano. I wanted to, and when I did that first tour through, I don't know, I think we went through 7 or 8 distilleries while we were there in that region. And Cascawen, I went to, and I tasted the freshly cooked agave that just came out of their oven. And I just thought, oh, wow, this is amazing. I couldn't imagine anything else from anywhere else being as impressive as this. And then me and a friend of mine went back down there last year, and we ended up making a whole week trip out of it. And we went through not only the same, because I wanted him to experience what I experienced when I went prior, but we also ended up going through Arandis. And we got to hang out with, all the guys and stuff like that. And Sergio Cruz, which we can get into a little bit later, but it was, definitely an experience. And it's like, oh, there is better out there. And I'm not saying anything bad about Cascawen by any means.
No.
Yeah. They make an amazing tequila. I absolutely love it. But the sweetness that you get out of the highlands and the citrus notes, and it's like the way I explain Yeyo to a lot of people, it's like having a mixed drink without adding anything to it, because you have all these amazing citrus, fruity notes. You still have the sweetness of the agave to it, and it's just an amazing spirit straight out of the bottle. You don't have to add anything to it to truly enjoy this spirit. And that's my impression. And then I got to go to yes, 1414 last year or the year before, and try their cooked agave. And I fell in love all over again, and the journey continues. Now I'll be back down there in February, and I can't wait. I can't wait.
You keep us posted when we'll meet you down there.
I'll be there the 1st through the 8th.
Oh, perfect. My birthday. I'm in.
Liran and I go every 6 weeks, it seems like. So
At least. I was just there 2 weeks ago, and I'm going back in 2 weeks.
And I'm going back with him.
Yep.
So
my wife asked me all the time, should I give us a second family there? What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, I definitely have a second family. They call them the Viancos and the Cruzes.
Yeah, yep. I think I'm on
with Cruz. It's always an event because you're there forever, which is not a bad thing.
Yep.
It's a blessing. Truly, it is.
Yeah. Doing the UTVs and the dinners with them, we always have a good time. It just feels like it never ends, and like in the best way possible.
They run the next door to Jaime's and they bring a bunch of meat back over with some tortillas. Yep. It's amazing.
What else do you need? What else do you need? Life is good.
Yeah, just let me sit
Life
there.
is very good there.
Good tequila, carnitas, and tortillas. I'm happy.
Yeah, and
that's it. I'm good.
Tortillas that you get here, they're actually meaty.
Yeah, they're homemade fresh tortillas. They're delicious.
So both of you, I have been a super fan of Yeyo. Absolutely love it. I promote the hell out of it with all the people that I run into. I can't say enough good things about your tequila. It is truly one of my favorites.
That means a lot. Thank
you decide to come out with a high proof, which I haven't tried yet because I knew if I opened it up, I would be in trouble, and I will not put it down. It'll be gone before our event. So I got a little bit of regular to go through here, which I promise before we're done, I will get out of this. And I'm really looking forward to trying their high proof. But, when I started contacting you guys and you guys sent me other images to go with the event that I put on today that I posted about. So you guys got a lot of stuff going on right now. And that's what I want to.
We do have a lot of cool stuff coming out. Working on a lot of really, really interesting stuff. And of course, the biggest baby we have. Yes. But Jon has created a lot of his passion that he's put into this and putting a lot of thought into it. This Hoven was a Sergio Jon creation. And I'm going to say it was absolutely amazing. When one of the Hovens is the Soul Edition is blended in apple cider barrels, aged in apple cider barrels, and that's the Soul. And then the Luna is in peach wine barrels. When Jon first told me about the apple cider barrels, I was like, Jon, we're not doing this pumpkin spice nonsense. This is not the right way of doing it. And he's like, can you just try it first and let me know what you think? And he brought me a bottle, and I was like, oh. I'm okay with that. This is amazing, actually. And then when we worked with Sergio on it, he's like, let's do a Hoven. Jon, correct me if I'm wrong in anything. But he's like, I have a great idea for a Hoven. Let me run with it. We said, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And the product that came out at the end was just something you've never tried. I could put it like that. Yes. And I have a lot of bottles in my collection. I've tried a lot of different tequilas. And this was just something next level.
So just so everybody has kind of a general idea.
Yeah.
When you say you have a few bottles, can you please explain a little bit further? Because you told me before this so that people don't say, oh, yeah, you tried a few bottles. How many bottles you got
in my collection? I have about 3,000 bottles. This is the bar. And then this is part of the shelf. And then I have a couple more rooms of just storage of more and more tequila.
So yes, you have a few bottles in your selection. I mean,
I have a few, and
if you need to dump 1,000, I'll send you my address. So.
And that's why, like, when you brought up Coscoine and Fortaleza, a lot of my true passion came from that. A lot of my respect came from them.
Yes.
And seeing what they've done. I've sat with Guillermo and I've had drinks. I've gone to dinner with Chava and had his crazy stuff that he makes. So, and getting to meet everybody and just getting those different flavors and different profiles and just knowing what is out there. And, you hear a lot of people say, well, this and that. The great thing with those guys, they all experiment.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that Jon is doing and Sergio is doing, that we're trying to do, is experiment, do something different. We did the rum barrels, which was amazing, something that was not normal in tequila. And now doing all these other barrels and trying different things. These are sample bottles that we brought back from the barrels. We have 14 experimental barrels. We have ports. We have cognac barrels. And this stuff has just been sitting for a little bit of time. Sherry. And just the stuff with the Yeyo profile, like that you just talked about, how much you like, in these barrels, the stuff is just coming out so special. Something we've haven't seen.
Even sea salt.
Yeah, Jon, we do have a couple. We have a sea salt barrel.
We have a sea salt barrel. We don't know what to do with it yet, but we'll do. Yep.
A honey barrel, but I'm telling you, once like you come up.
Well, not yours. I've tried a honey barrel just recently.
Yes, honey barrel I've tried. Not with the sea salt barrel. That's a different one right there.
Yeah. We'll figure something out.
If you love the ocean and you love tequila, it's the perfect barrel.
That's exactly what it tastes like.
100%.
Yeah. We'll figure out something to blend with it in the future, but that's the cool thing about R&D is not everyone's going to be spectacular maybe in the beginning, but I think we'll just let it age, and that's the cool thing. At least we're trying, and who knows, we'll be the first ones to figure out a 10% sea salt with I don't know, 90% honey barrel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just fun. We just bought a couple more barrels now. What was it? Osolindo or I forgot. It's another like a port wine. But we're like, let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? We don't like it, we dump it, or we blend it, or do something exciting with it. But with Sergio behind the wheel, with that kind of his mentality and palate, it's so much fun. We're like, Sergio, what are you gonna do with this one? It's like, I'll come up with ideas.
You're challenging Sergio Cruz to make these amazing tequilas out of shit that's never been done before.
Yeah, and he loves it, and he's passionate about it. So it's always been so exciting to do these things with him. And I've known Sergio for a few years. Jon's known him for a very long time. But getting to work with him like this, side by side, and bringing those barrels, and messaging him and saying, we got some more funky barrels coming your way. He's like, bring it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I know I was speaking before you got on, Jon, that, I know how, after reading a few articles about you coming out with the high proof, of how particular that you wanted to make sure that the high proof wasn't just a high proof, but you didn't want to deflect away from what Yeyo Blanco is, and still keep a lot of those same notes that you get out of the standard in the high proof. So how many different variations did you have to go through? How many different proofs? And were you still on top of the table or below the table when you finished?
So we started April 30th of 2023. That was the first time we started this. So we did 3 batches from then to now. We weren't in a rush. We didn't have anyone telling us we had to release it by a certain date. And these things, it doesn't sound like a lot of batches, but in Mexico, things don't move fast. You don't want to force things either. So you want things to happen the way they happen. And you also need to let things rest, and you need to pull the right type of agave, and you need to experiment, and it takes time. So I know in the States we make things happen a lot faster, but their timetables are slower, and it's a natural process. So what we were trying to accomplish is the Yeyo Blanco just on the next level, and really pull out all the aromas and profiles and all the complexities that you kind of miss in the 80 proof. The 80 proof has it there; it has hints of it, but this allows it to really shine because of the alcohol content being higher, and it does it in a good way where it's not burning your throat, you're not coughing. It's a sipper, and even at 96 proof, it's very enjoyable. Even for like a beginner, I still think it's it's very like approachable, and it brings all the things that we wanted to bring to it. We did use fermented agave fiber. We experimented with that. We went really, really heavy on fibers, and then we used no fibers because I didn't like the taste. I felt like it was too far away from the Yeyo DNA, and it just kind of masked it with more of a mint kind of profile because of how much fermented agave fibers we used in the fermenting process. And then we did none, and then I felt like it was missing something. So then we did about 5% fermented agave fibers in the fermenting process, and then right there after we made that, I was like, that's it. And even getting to the proof level wasn't easy too, landing on 96. I was hesitant to even go that high too. I was thinking maybe that's too high, let's maybe go lower. But then we started trying things at different levels and ABV levels, and 48 just seemed like the right balance for a high proof, at least for Yeyo. And I felt like 48 was right. But we did go higher. I think we had it at 97 proof, and then basically we came down a little bit. But even one, 1 proof difference, there is a difference. You can kind of taste it. Things can change just like that. So like, yeah, this is a balanced product, but it took a while to get there, over a year.
So finding the blend and finding the perfect, combination was key. We didn't want to just put something out just to put it out.
Which I do have an empty glass now, but I want to start getting into it. And I've been with Sergio Cruz during some of his experimental stage after, I don't know, 10 hours of drinking tequila with him and seeing his mind work. I mean, even after 8 hours, I mean, his mind is still evolving, and he starts explaining things, and it's like, well, I'll take a little bit of this and I'll take a little bit of that and I'll throw it in the barrel, and and he's explaining with the glasses, and he's like, okay, now try this and see how much difference there is.
Yeah.
And it's blowing. I mean, because I consider Sergio Cruz the mad scientist of the tequila world. And I would put Chava in that same realm. They're not afraid to break out of the norm. I mean, let's throw, some other yeast from some other country that does some other spirit. Let's throw it in here and see what it does. And he started bringing those barrels out, and it's mind blowing of how such a little thing can change the flavor profile of what you're drinking. And just a little bit of water, as he was doing with us when I was there, can change the flavor profile so much.
Totally.
And it's mind blowing.
Before we do anything, we like to, run it by him, talk it out with him so we could plan it properly. Like beginning of next year, first quarter of next year, we're going to have our full line of the Reposado, our house Reposado, not a single barrel. And we're doing 4 square rum barrels. That's going to be our home base repo. So we're really excited about it. There you go.
This stuff. I mean, so I was lucky enough that Vintegrity here in the Midwest. Ended up buying one of your barrels, and I bought one, and I think I polished it off in a week, and then I went out and found every bottle that I could find and buy it, because I mean, I do go through that much Yeyo at my house. Not that I'm sharing it a lot. I just drink that much.
Nice.
Again,
Same.
I do not have an AA card, although my wife probably thinks I should. I do enjoy it that much, and I really didn't know what to expect, because this was the first repo that I got from Yeyo. And I've always been used to, your standard Blanco, and I shouldn't call it standard, your exceptional Blanco, and I've enjoyed it so much. I didn't know what was going to happen when you add a little bit of barrel to it, and I loved it even more. I mean, it was truly that amazing that I was like blown away.
That single program,
and I was like,
that single barrel rum program was special. And we're reusing them for next year. We're using the same rum barrels to come out with our first actual añejo with those same single barrels. So we have those filled and ready to go. We're really, really excited for that one too.
Now I'm not going to sleep at night knowing.
Get excited, because that stuff's going to be great.
I think it's August, July or August of next year they'll be ready.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, guys. I mean, one, you're coming out of phenomenal distillery. Two, you got Sergio Cruz, and I don't mean to leave you out, but Jon just fucking going at it, trying to come up with these amazing profiles. I mean, really, honestly, if you haven't experienced tequila, or if you are experienced tequila, if you want an amazing sipper that is very affordable, you cannot ask for a better tequila than Yeyo. Plus, I mean, how fun is it to say? I mean, so I got to go there. How in the hell did you come up with the name Yeyo and a totally untraditional bottle to market it?
It was just like with our barrels, unique barrels and unique kind of styles, like traditional and tropical. That doesn't exist. No one else has done traditional and tropical and tequila, but we did it. So a long process. I think we put together 13 different bottles, and Liran, someday I'll have to show them to you. I do have them, and we'll have to do something with them. But we came out with different bottle designs and different bottles and different logos, and we asked bartenders, female, male, what they like of it, how they feel, how they grab it, how they pour it. But a lot of this was, with people around us asking them what they like and dislike, and that was kind of how we came up with this bottle. Which actually at the time we were the first ones to use this bottle design, which is called the Long Island, which Saber Glass owns the patent on. But we did this all based on feedback. It wasn't just one or two people thinking of it. It was several people, and it was even how it looked on the bar and how it looked at the store, and all those variables combined, and then that was it. But the first bottle was actually, I went to Home Depot and I bought the frosted spray glass, and I sprayed the clear bottle with the frosted spray glass rattle can. And that was how our first frosted bottle was made. And then I printed the clear logo on my printer at home with the clear paper from Office Depot. And then I used cement glue to put on the label. And that's how I pitched it to bars and restaurants, because I didn't have a sample bottle. And it worked. I mean, even though it looked kind of crafty, that was the first one. But so the name. So the name actually.
There's a lot of crazy ideas. I was gonna say there's a lot of crazy ideas that go through John's head, and the way he comes up with stuff is just out of this world. But it's always fun to watch and always be fun to be a part of.
Yeah, what's kind of cool is Liran's getting to see. Well, we're actually doing this together now, but for 2025, we're already, our minds are in 2025 right now on what we're developing. So never going to stop. 2026, 2027, we got a lot of cool things coming, and so
already barreled our extra añejo.
I know.
We're going all out here.
We definitely have a barrel problem between the two of us. We have a hard time saying no to barrels. So
we just buy.
Yeah, pretty much. So all right, so Yeyo, we were really looking for. We had a lot of names, by the way. We had about a page and a half of names, and we were looking through to see if anyone had registered it or trademarked it in spirits in general. So vodka, gin, whiskey, all the different brands, because it's really on the category, not just tequila. It's like the whole spirits category. And we wanted to keep it short, simple, fun, easy to roll off the tongue, and happy to say, and easy to order. And it just happened to be that Sergio Cruz and Sergio Vilanco, the nickname for Sergio for them is Yeyo, which is, in Mexico, you use the Y's as J's. Yeah. And here you use it as Yeyo. So his signature's on the bottle on the front, and why not name it after the master distiller, which is his nickname. So they both Sergios, even though there's a big age difference, they've both been being called that nickname their whole life, Yeyo. And let's name the tequila after the master distiller. And there's actually 3 Sergios there. There's even Sergio Jr. there too. So
yes, and that's the one you see primarily. But I don't know if I don't think I've ever seen Sergio Sr. there. But yes, it's amazing. It's an amazing place to visit. And it's funny that you named it after Sergio Cruz and Sergio Vivanco. I assume that's who you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. And that there was similarity between the two that ended up working out well and creating a name. And yes, you can't. I mean, my neighbors know now when it's the weekend. They know when I come out. They're already yelling out "Yeyo," even though they don't drink tequila.
Nice.
CJ, man. And he's got a bottle. Yeyo.
and yeah, that's why I think the name is so important, because I think a product, like if we had a different name for it, I think the direction of where it would be different than today. And maybe just the path. I don't know if it'd be up or down. It would just be in a different direction, because the name is very important, and it has to be fun. It has to roll off the tongue. It has to be, just like memorable.
Easy.
And
right.
I think it's definitely memorable. I've seen a lot of the new brands that have come out, and most of the time I'm like, what's that brand called? I don't think you're gonna forget the one called Yeyo. So,
no.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go. Easy to spell too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I guess now let's go into some of the new stuff that you're getting ready to come out with. So, like I mentioned, you guys sent me a couple of Hoven pictures of some tequila that you're getting ready to come out with.
Yeah. This project too.
Badass, by the way.
What was that?
Those boxes are badass.
They're beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. So, like all these projects, they start a year before. So, like I said, Liran and I already have started on 2025 this year. So that started last year, and it takes definitely time to evolve with where it ends up. So basically, it was we wanted to have something different. We wanted to celebrate Day of the Dead, and we wanted to do it in 2 different ways. And for some reason, I thought somewhere in my head, I was like, we have to have two variations, and it needs to be like a yin and a yang. There needs to be something that ties them together, where you can celebrate, in the day, you can celebrate at night. And there was lots of different versions we went through. I want to say like just the inside the box alone was 60 plus versions on each one. And on the outside, 100 plus versions, with the, going to get to the final outcome of it. But where we ended up on was the sun and the moon. So Sol and Luna. And we thought that was a perfect combination of how you could celebrate during the day and then celebrate at night. And then it was like, we actually had been experimenting the year before with spiced apple cider barrels. It was part of our experimental barrel project in 2023. I think it's 2023. So we're like, perfect. We love that. That's definitely the sun right there. So we basically bought more of the same barrels and we started aging them. So all these X spice apple cider casks. And then we said, all right, for the Luna, we got to go dark with it. It's nighttime. It's still important to celebrate. And let's go with something that's more of a nighttime kind of sipper. And we felt like the peach was different, and it hit that note for nighttime. And I was like, let's start aging in these X peach wine casks. And the barrels, by the way, for the peach are like they cut branches in half and they wrap them around 4 or 5 different parts of all the barrels. So it's like very cool how these barrels are made, and just like the thought that went into the branches and how they cut them down, and they smell delicious. Like you could be 6 feet away from it and still smell it coming out of the barrel. It's crazy how much comes out of the barrel without even opening it, just getting near it. It's just, yeah.
You walk into that barrel room and all you get hit with those peaches like crazy.
Yeah, 1,400 barrels, and 22 of them are for the Day of the Dead and for Luna and Sol, and that's all you smell out of the 1,400 are those ones. So it's crazy how they, the aroma that comes out of them without even opening up the barrel. It's pretty cool. So the tequila really loves interacting with these types of woods and the pores in there, and it's just working really, really well together. I think they're having a fiesta in there. So it's really cool. So those are the two. We also wanted to do packaging that I don't think has ever been done before, and I got inspired just by the idea, and kind of like with the tropical and traditional. And that's kind of how I came up with those. It was like this two kind of yin and yang type thing, and the same thing with the Day of the Dead, but now with the boxes and even the connectors. So it connects from the top, it connects from the side, it connects. You can do 3 in a line, you can do 6 in a line. They all interconnect with each other. That wasn't easy too, by the way. If Liran and I will get a couple cases, and we'll probably do some cool things with it and see how far we can connect it, the hairline and everything. But we haven't had the ability to do that yet. But we will be hopefully in the next 2 weeks. We'll be able to do that at the distillery.
We'll have some fun with it.
But
yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I mean, over a 5-month process to develop the artwork. I did all of it on AI through Midjourney, and 150 plus prompts of lines of code basically on each one to get to the final outcome, and then Photoshop on each one, because AI still doesn't understand like eyes, fingers, and teeth. So the actual skulls actually had 3 rows of teeth. We had to clean that out to make 2 rows of teeth. 3 rows are not really common. 6 fingers aren't common either. But no, I had a blast doing it, and I'm glad I was able to take what was in my brain and get it out there. And the final outcome is pretty cool for never doing something like this ever before. It's turned out pretty cool.
when you guys sent me the artwork to build the little ad before this event, and I saw those boxes, it's just like, oh God, I hope those are coming my way. I hope those are coming my way. Because I don't want to say that I didn't care if there was any tequila in the barrel or in the boxes. I just wanted to, because talk about an amazing, yes, talk about an amazing piece of artwork, that would
it really is special.
Be phenomenal on any display. Yes, it's so exciting, and I hope Kansas picks it up and brings it in. I will be talking to the owner of the people that you deal with and making sure that they bring this stuff in, because I am so excited. I just want boxes.
We wanted to make sure it gets not just with one state or one distributor or anything. So we did make sure there's an allocation for many of the states that we work with, so people can get their hands on it. It's not an unlimited release; it's a limited release. But we did want to make sure that it gets into as many states as possible, so as many people could get to try it and feel it and see how special this expression was.
And Kansas does have allocation too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's really good to know.
And even CJ, even down to the UPC code, even the UPC code is custom.
Please explain.
Yeah. So the UPC code, that's actually a sun on the UPC code.
Oh, and I get it.
And the other one's has a moon in it, a moon in there. And even down to where it says Hoven, if you look at the Hoven, it has a sun ray going through the Hoven for Sol, and then for Luna it has stars where it says Hoven on the bottle. So and then there's actually some other there's also some other Easter eggs. If you look deeply in some of the artwork, you'll see some other things in there as well. And also on the inside of the box, there's actually a lot of Spanish that we used in there. So there's that part. There's also the part on the flap too. So the part that I think Liran is touching right there, it basically just says "We remember you" in Spanish. So the whole point of Day of the Dead is you're celebrating, you're remembering the dead. So there's different literature or words that are inside the box that basically talk about Day of the Dead. And the purples, the yellows, all these colors all have meaning within the celebration. They all tie back to pain. They talk about celebration. There's different things of why those colors are what they are. We have purple on the ink of the bottle. We have golds. We have whites. We have yellows. All these had meanings. They're not just colors we just pulled out. They're all going back to the celebration of it. So there was definitely some research that was done before creating it. So there's a reason for the color scheme. There's a reason for the even type of flowers. Different flowers have different meanings for the celebration too. And so there's even the flowers in the hair, down to the candles. All these things have a meaning, even to the makeup. The makeup's actually UV spot finished. The rest of the box is soft touch. But there's a lot of thought went into the design of it.
Okay, so
another thing very important to bring up before we forget, and I promise, right? We wanted to make this so available for everybody. We're launching our website also, our new website, the Yeyo website, and we're going to be able to ship to 47 different states.
Yes.
So pretty much everywhere nationwide, you're going to be able to get this. And all the special releases, we also want to make sure to have a certain allocation for our website, so we're able to supply fans like you and just get it out there as much as possible.
It's amazing.
And that should be, I'm hoping that should be launched by the end of this month, we should be up and running.
All right. So I don't have one here, but John, and you actually brought this up earlier. You have a special QR code inside your boxes.
Yes,
but now,
inside
and now you're actually adding it to the boxes. Are you doing the same
to the bottle?
thing? Or to the bottle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So great question. So on the Luna and the Soul, which is it's Liran's popping up or holding up. So not only does it have it on the box when you open it up, it also has it on the bottle. And this was actually feedback that you gave me 2 years ago on a podcast. So now even the high proof and the new Blanco all have QR codes on the glass. So if the box gets separated, you still have it on the QR code, or the QR code still on the bottle. The QR codes take you to different places for Luna and Soul. They take you to the Luna page. Soul takes you to the Soul page, talks about the barrels, what we just talked about. They'll talk about the Blanco, talk about the blend, they'll talk about the artwork, all those things. The high proof is kind of like a tree. You can rate the tequila, you can go to the treasure map, or you can go to the Blanco page and buy it, like the high proof page. Same thing with the Blanco.
Oh, so. The QR code is on the high proof. Oh, I love it. All right. So you guys do listen.
Yeah.
Is there a treasure on all these bottles that you have and getting ready to come out with to be found on the QR code to be found? I remember when we first started talking about this, and unfortunately the liquor store that I went to, I didn't get a box, so I felt like I was somewhat gypped. And that's the reason why I made the notation to you of you should really put it on there. And you made the comment of, well, California, we can't ship boxes with, and the whole story goes on. But is there a new treasure to be found on all these different boxes?
Yes. So on the one you're holding, that does take you to the treasure map, and it takes you to a special page that's not crawled by Google. The high proof, yeah. So what Liran was mentioning, we're launching our new site. So when we launch our new site, that will turn into a tree. And when I say a tree, let's call it like a branch. So when you go there, you'll have options. You can treasure hunt, you can shop, or you can learn more about that particular product that you're going to. For Luna, it's just going to be a direct one because it's a limited edition, and then Soul will be a direct link right to it, talking about it, and then you can buy it too if we have any in stock at the time. But I doubt we'll have anything in stock at that time because it's a limited release. But yeah, so it's there, and you have a couple of different things you can do with it. But that link you can only get on the bottle. It's a hidden link for the treasure map. So we've never published it. There is a Easter egg on the website somewhere, and that link will take you to the actual link that I'm talking about. 2022 was just found by Pepe. He searched 3 times to try to find the treasure. He just found it, which super excited he found it. 2023 was found, I think it was earlier in this year. 24 is still out there. So 2024 is still out there. We did that back in January of this year. So that one's out there right now. But Liran and I got to try the bottle that was buried actually on December 21st of 2021. But it was for 2022. Yeah. And it had notes in there, and it was submerged in water. And we still got to try it. We got to crack it open, and it was delicious. It was like
it was great.
Yeah. It was a Hoven we did. It was a 1-on-1 Hoven dipped in white pearl wax. It was signed by the distillery, but I think most of it came off in the water log that happened. I didn't think about the rainfall, but in a time capsule, it must have just sucked it in like a vacuum because the whole thing was solid water. But the tequila was okay, which is the most important thing. The notes that were in there, he dried out. So we actually got to read the notes from December 21st, 2021, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
And it was delicious. So really, really cool to try it. That was our first burial. And we're burying another one. I already have the time capsule is actually already at the distillery. I planned ahead this year, and we're ready to go for end of this year or early next year to berry again.
Well, hey, if you don't bury it by February, I will be there. I will help you.
We'll make sure to send you the map.
We'll sit there and supervise the situation with the bottle of Yeyo.
So how we bury this bottle is because the dirt's so hard. We usually bring like a couple of 2 liters of Coke, and we pour the Coke over the dirt to loosen it up, or water, but usually Coke's a little bit more easier to get. And basically it loosens up the dirt, and then we dig. And then we bury it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, what an amazing experience that would be. I mean, and so fun, just like the name Yeyo. I mean, everything you guys do is so much fun. I mean, and yes, I have gotten into the high proof, and wow. I mean, yeah, you know it's a little bit hotter, not by much, but it's still got the signature notes that I'm used to in your standard proof. And I hope there's a lot coming to Kansas, because I don't know if I'll buy the regular anymore.
Hey, that's okay. I'm starting to
I love it. I mean, it's still got all the citrus notes, maybe a little bit more of agave notes, but not like in a way that you would feel like, you know, in some of the other brands, you know, when they get hotter, they get a little bit more caramelized, and you taste so much agave forward. You still get a lot of the Yeyo notes that I'm hoping that I'll taste. Citrus, you know, the fruits. It's still such a fun spirit that, you know, I can drink this all night long and truly be happy. Like
exactly.
Yeyo.
Exactly. That's why we made it. So it's actually pretty addicting. So
it's really not. It's really easy to drink. Yeah. It's dangerous.
Yeah. That's very dangerous.
And for you guys who you know, like to hang out with your friends and play cards and stuff, I mean, one of these bottles will go down pretty quick.
It's fast.
Very quick, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I mean, you guys, and now I got to get in the tropical, because
you've been waiting for that one for a while.
I have been, and I was so afraid to open it up again because I knew that we would have a deal, and I probably poured a little bit more than I should have. But
it's okay.
I was really looking forward, because last year when it came out, and you guys had all these special barrels, and, you know, barrels went to states, and a few barrels went to one state. I was like, damn it, how do I get a barrel? And this year, you know, it became a little bit more readily available, and I got my hands on the repo, and I tasted that repo, and I was just like, I mean, I was in total heaven. I mean, I love a little taste of the barrel. Your guys' Blanco is amazing. I mean, hands down, it's amazing. But with that hint of barrel added to it, and then I heard that you guys had a tropical, and somebody kept on posting about your tropical. It's like, oh, fuck, how do I get my hands on that bottle? Sorry for the language, but I was, it's like, oh, man, I bet you that would be amazing. I mean, you already have so many citrus notes in your Blanco, I think it carries through in your repo. I couldn't imagine what a tropical would be. I mean, that would be just like, I mean, isn't there some deal that says a party in your mouth? Probably not in a really bad way, but I mean, that's the way I'm imagining it.
The high proof is kicking in.
It's really like that.
Yeah.
It's doing its job.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
It's doing its job.
Dude.
No, so like what we were trying to accomplish with the the tropical and traditional is we did 14 tropical, 14 traditional for 14-14. You know, the giving it back to the nom.
The nom.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, and again, like, I don't really know too many brands that have done single barrel X barrels that have been single barrel casks. And so when we were able to get our hands on this single barrel rum cask, I was like, oh, that's cool. 5 years, single barrel. I'm like, that's pretty cool. One rum sitting there. I was like, we got to get those. And then the other ones, the tropical is basically several different rums, let's say 5 to 6 rums over like a 5 to 6 year period. And I was like, we got to get those too. And then let's call them something different, because realistically, the history is different, because the in and out, you know, the sitting, the settling, the pours, there's just different things happening there. There's different things get left behind, and different things come out, and the trade, it's like the humidity, all that stuff. So I was like, we have to separate the two, and we have to do it kind of this way, and let's do it in a kind of a way that is different, which is tropical and traditional are like not even the thing that exists in tequila. Same thing with Sol and Luna. We actually had to get a CRT approval for all this stuff too. I had to fill out I had to write like a page of each one, why we were doing this, and then get their approval to even use these words in tequila. So,
okay. I got to pause you. This tropical, if it's the last thing I drink on this earth, it's amazing.
Yeah. That cool?
This is like Blanco, standard Blanco, Arnold Schwarzenegger style. I mean, totally steroids. I mean, wow, this is amazing. Dude, you guys knocked it out of the park. I mean, this is amazing. So, can you tell us what rum barrels you're using? I mean, for people who don't know, I mean, Mexicans do make rum.
Yes.
They came from Colombia. I did sign an NDA. We did not with the Foursquare. So Foursquare, we can say, yes, what Liran was saying for our everyday reposado we're going to release next year. It is no NDA required. Yes, from Barbados. And it was it's Foursquare. And for those of you who don't know about Foursquare, they make amazing rum. This distillery, which you're drinking right now, is definitely something you've seen around, and it's from Colombia, but we just have the agreement where we can't talk about it. But Liran knows who it is, but I can't really say it because I don't want to get in trouble. But Foursquare, we can talk about.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we're very excited about the Foursquare because I think they're going to be better than what we had in the past. And as CJ said, this stuff, if this is the last stuff he drinks, he'll be a happy man. I promise. You're going to be able to get your hands on some amazing, amazing stuff.
Yeah. What we tried the Foursquare at, I want to say we were at 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks in, maybe, or something, maybe 8 weeks in the last time we were down there, even though it's very early on, but it was delicious, and it was a different profile from what you're tasting right now, which is important because it shouldn't be the same because it's from a different country, different elevation, different rainfall, different humidity, just tons of different things. Yeah, different trees, just different everything. So I like the profile. Liran liked the profile, and I cannot wait to try it again a few weeks from we're down there. And it's going to sit there, and it's going to age, and it's going to keep on aging until it's right. And then when it's right, we'll pull it out of the barrel and we'll bottle it, and we'll keep doing it that way. We don't put time limits on these things. It's really when the barrel will tell you when it's ready to bottle, and that's when we bottle it. So what you're drinking right now, that's sat in the barrel for 10 months to 10 and a half months. There's a long time sitting in the barrel, and even with that color being so light,
Yeah.
That's what the barrel gave us, but it wasn't ready, at 3 months. It wasn't ready at 5 months, and we kept on trying it, and then eventually he said it's ready. Let's bottle.
Yep.
This is amazing. I mean,
that's
tequila, you always expect a little bit something to be, behind it, but this is not the norm. You guys have really thought outside of the box and, added a amazing tequila already, by all means, to these barrels to enhance your tequila, but still keep a lot of similarities that you do in your normal tequila. And I'm going to put this behind my ears and hope I go, get lucky tonight. I don't know. It really is something special. And now I understand why so many people has talked about their tropical, and it's so sought after. It really is that amazing. It is truly incredible on the aroma that you get out of it. I mean, it's just mind blowing on the aroma, but I mean on the palate as well. I mean, it carries through. I mean, this has got to be truly one of the most enjoyable tequilas that I think I've had, regardless of the price point. And I don't have 3,000 bottles. I probably have 4 or 5. But, I mean, this is truly an amazing tequila.
That's another thing that's very special about Yeyo is we have it affordable. Like, there's some great tequilas out there, but you can't have it as a daily sipper. You can have our Blanco as a daily sipper. You can have our rum barrels aren't crazy expensive. They're realistically priced. So it's nice that we could feed the community with what they want with a great product and still be able to make it affordable for them.
Yeah.
And as I was talking with you prior to going live, selfish or not, I make sure that every liquor store that I venture to carries Yeyo on their shelf just in case I run out. So
I love it.
We appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
As a selfish point, and I've gotten it into quite a few liquor stores on the Kansas side because I live on the Kansas side. I make sure it's there. That way, again, I can venture in there on lunch and pick it up and go about my merry way, knowing I'm going to have a fabulous weekend and enjoy what's in my glass.
Definitely.
This is the reaction that we want is what you're giving us. So this is why we take our time, and the details matter. And the great thing is we're not in a rush. So that's the true thing. We're not in a rush, and I think if we plan enough in ahead, we can keep doing what we're doing. Like I said, we're already working on 2025, and we're experimenting all the time. We just got, I think originally we were going to do 3 experimental barrels this year. We ended up at 14, and then now, a week later, just or a week ago, maybe it was even this week, we just bought 2 more. So now we have, we'll be filling those barrels soon too. Now we're at 16 barrels this year.
Experimental barrels.
Experiment.
In total, we have close to 300 barrels we're going right now that are going to be used for a reposado, añejo, extra añejo, blends, and so on. Really, really going all out here.
CJ, if you like what you have in front of you, I think you'll be okay. So the stuff that we've tried recently, just a couple weeks ago at the distillery, I was very, very impressed by it. So I would say that we're gonna, with our next couple releases, are gonna be even to the next level. I'm like extremely happy where it's going with the barrels that we chose. There was the sea salt and the honey barrel that we'll have to figure out where they land. But the rest of them, though, the 80% or 85%, oh, just killer, man. I mean, yeah.
Really good
the color
stuff.
too, like the red that comes out of it, and just the flavor is just, oh my gosh. So I was impressed, and it was only 6 weeks in the barrel. And I know Liran's hard to impress too, but he was loving it too.
I was
but
really happy.
I can't imagine.
I'm like, they brought us the sample bottles. I'm like, I'm taking him home with me. I don't care what anybody says. They're coming with me.
Yeah.
I brought back 30. Yeah. I think I brought back 30 bottles with me that trip.
Oh, how'd you get through customs?
Well, in LA, you're actually allowed to bring up to 60 liters back for personal use.
Yep. 60 liters.
So that's the one thing. That's definitely one thing we have good going for us here in LA.
Yeah. It's good.
Huh?
That's just if you get
across the border, or do you actually fly all the way?
No, you gotta fly. By land, you could only bring 1 liter with you. But on plane or ship, I think it's up to 60 liters.
It's 60 liters,
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I've done the max out too. I've done the 3 suitcases and maxed out the whole thing. I haven't got close to the 60 yet because of space, but it's still a lot of product to bring over 60 liters.
Yeah,
we bring a lot of suitcases with us.
Yeah, I usually bring a couple extra when I go to Mexico. The last trip was the first trip that I actually lost a bottle, and unfortunately, it happened to be a very old bottle of Vivo Mexico, because last time I was down there, Sergio Cruz introduced me to some very old bottles of Vivo Mexico, and I fell in love with it. And so while I was continuing to shop through Mexico, I found some very old bottles, even prior to what he introduced me to. And one of them broke in my bag. And it was like, it was coming down the carousel. You could totally smell all the tequila fuming the area that we were in. And it's like,
I've been there before too. Yeah.
I
think we've all been there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I usually prefer it on the way home. Sometimes I'll bring tequila down to Mexico too. That is not fun when your clothes for the trip are covered in tequila and glass to start the trip.
The tequila part I don't mind. The glass part is where it becomes an issue.
Yeah, the glass part's hard. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. All right, this was awesome. Really, really happy we got to do this with you guys, and appreciate all the love and everything that comes with that.
Super excited about the whole thing. If you guys hang in with me, we'll clear this up. Thank you again. I can't say enough of how excited I am that you're getting ready to, release these new expressions with everybody. And I don't know what to expect, but I know it's going to be amazing.
We're not disappointed. I promise you that much.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this.
Yeah.
If you got any last minute plugs, plug them in real quick, and we'll just end this.
Go out there. October 1st, it should be hitting the market. The High Proofs, the Day of the Dead, they're coming to a market near you, and we're really excited for everybody to have some. They should be landing in the States by October 1st, and a week after that, should be hitting all the markets. So we're really, really excited for that, for everybody to have some. And we want to hear people's feedbacks. Don't be shy. Let us know what you guys think.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like what Liran just said, we're very excited, and they're coming out very soon. And we're really excited to get it out there in all the markets. And we can't wait till everyone gets to try this. And that's why we made it. We made it to share.
Yep.
Amazing, guys. Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, guys, we'll catch you on the next event very soon. Promise there's some other spectacular tequilas coming up. But meanwhile, salute. And we'll see you very soon.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, CJ. Thanks, Liran.